couple of displays here that I'll just point out, so if you're looking at them online, you'll know what we're looking at. This encompasses the old tannery site. And this is the lagoon number 3 that we've been discussing. And then each of these blocks here shows you, like in this case, this says AS 33, that's arsenic at 33. You'll have to see what the scale is that they've done it for this. But you can see that wetland C, this is where the Lamprey Elementary School is. This discharges from where this dam is, from Lagoon 3. And this is actually probably better visualized here on the PFAS testing. These wells are on the perimeter of where our groundwater monitoring is. So GZ 101, which has the highest, that's 203,950 times the health advisory limit from the EPA that just came out this year, by the way. So this wasn't this.
Tested before PFAS.
Well, it's been tested for PFAS a few times, but they only started doing it in 2015.
Right.
And this is the one that is closest to the Lamprey River. MW6, this is Old Manchester Road and White Street, so this is just on the other side of White Street. This test well is on the other side of Old Manchester Road, and this monitoring well is between the old Lagoon number 2 and the old Lagoon number 1, which is now called the consolidation area. That's where they took, other than the deep leather fill area, that's where they put all the other contamination from the site, put it in a hole basically, and capped it off.
But this house is right there.
Yeah, and these folks, they actually have gardens growing down here. This is sloped down from where this contamination is, which is why it's really important to get this information out to the public. This well over here is registering 49,572 times the health advisory limit. This is at 53,000 times the health advisory. This is at 60,750 times the health advisory, interim health advisory limit set by the EPA this year. So when you're looking at these maps, just an idea of where that is. So I said this was going to be quick so that we could get the mechanics of our committee going, and we've done that. Would anybody like to add anything to our list of current tasks?
They're still testing for all the other products besides PFAS
Well,
on all those wells.
so this has actually been divided into 2 areas. So there's the Lot 120 area and the Lot 43 area. The Lot 120 area, they stopped testing for the dissolved chromium and stuff because where they had the monitoring wells around that area, it's holding in place, and it has been. So this worked for what they were testing and what it was done for. Unfortunately, the PFAS, which we didn't go to test for, has exceeded those boundaries now. And this area is still being tested for dissolved chromium and stuff like that. This is a much hotter spot.
Right.
And so just for clarity, this is still being tested for PFAS in this area. Otherwise, they would have rated this as being remediated.
And the 2 spots that are kind of blank right there, those are wetlands, or should be
Oh, right here?
like this?
Yes,
and
this is called Wetland A, and this is basically in the woods. Wetland B is across the street from, the open field on the corner of White and Old Manchester Road. And then Wetland C is owned by, is on the Cahill property, and that abuts the school's property over there. So, yeah, it's very concerning. These areas that I circled in blue, these were remediated from this site. So, this, berm, which was a dam at the time, the northern berm, and this trench that runs between wetland A and lagoon 3 were, removed and put into the, consolidation area. But this, when they drained the lagoon down at that time, they were supposed to come back and retest. It was recommended that they retest because the soil samples came up with levels that were, they felt was significant risk to human life. And so, but once that was drained, it was never followed up on. So those tests were never done that I can find in the paperwork. One of the things that came up was supplementary site investigation. And that just means that they're supposed to go out because the PFAS has exceeded where we're monitoring. But they now have to go out, take a look at the site and put test wells that are further out so that we can gauge how far that PFAS bloom has extended. And
Yeah, the deadline is September 1st of this year, so we need to get.
to reply. So that's one of the things that I'll be coordinating between NHDES and the town, is making sure that we do get that reply and that we get a plan in place so that we can start planning around it.
Those test wells, are they paid for by the Brownfield grant, or is there any money left in that? Who pays for the test wells?
Well, the grant that we got originally for the brownfields has been paid.
Yeah.
So the monitoring, I'm not sure where those funds have been coming from. I think it's just the taxpayers have been paying it.
The town has been putting the bill for the testing.
To the tune of about, for that particular site, it's somewhere between $10,000 and $15,000.
Yes.
A year, right?
Oh, testing.
A testing?
They haven't tested it every year that I know of. They skip a year in between.
So, one of the things that I should note is that, one of the companies, environmental companies that we're using, to do the Stonehill Environmental, is no longer in business. Although some of the tests that they had done for their report, which we will not be getting from them, were done. And those tests were done on, these 3 wells. So this is from the most recent data, these numbers that I put up here. But these 3 wells, the most recent data, this well, the concentration here went down about 15%. The concentration at MW5, however, went up it almost doubled, almost 100%. And then the concentrations at GZ101 increased almost 300% from the previous test that was done on it. So these are this is up gradient and these are down gradient from this site.
Jim, what about the one down at the bottom?
This one wasn't retested when these 3 were done,
Okay.
so that's why I'm only mentioning those.
Okay.
This one, however, from its previous test, I believe was almost double as well.
So that might be a priority next time we test, and make sure that one's done.
We had said that there was gonna be no public comment because we just wanted to get through this really quick, but Tim is the only member of the public here, and so if it's okay with the committee, I'd like to open it up for public comment.
I just was gonna ask a couple follow-up questions to your presentation. Those 3 wells, test wells that you have circulated, when were those tested last?
These were tested, I believe, in 2021, and the results for those were just posted in October.
Do you think the results show our low rainfall this last year? We had a very low rainfall this last year.
Right.
So do you think it's potential that it could be possibly worse because we didn't have as much rain?
You need people that knew more about this than me to make that determination. I can only go by the information that's available out there now. I can't speculate on that.
No, I just was wondering, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
We had I'm a gardener, and unfortunately, I, probably shouldn't be gardening at my house anymore.
Scary stuff.
Did you have anything else, Tim?
No.
And, I'm sorry,
Well,
can you say your name and address for the record?
My name is Tim Kayla at 31 Old Manchester Road.
Thank you.
I will say for the record that probably 8 years ago, I received a letter from a company asking to dig test pits on my property. And when I reached out to them and said, hey, why do you want to dig test pits on my property? They just went away. They didn't answer my question. But I did not know about all this.
Okay, so you were never informed?
No.
Okay. That's another thing that we'll be looking into is who's been informed and when, because there's other sites that have a PFAS issue where I'm not sure if the folks have been notified yet or not. So, but before I do anything with that, it needs more research.
I'd also like to say thanks for the work that you've already clearly done on this.
Well, I appreciate that. So, our next meeting date is uncertain, so I need to coordinate that with staff and with everybody here so that we can have full public comment and make sure that everybody's voice is heard. In the meantime, however, if you have questions, comments, or concerns, you can run them through staff and we'll add that to our meeting.
Like at the King, at the Elmo.
No, that would be Christina, is the planning technician, I believe, or would it be Maddie? Reach out to city, reach out to town hall, and they'll tell you who to contact, and we'll have that information. I'll post that with, make sure that's posted in the minutes. If there's nothing else at the moment, then you have a very important responsibility.
True.
You have to make the motion.
Oh, to adjourn? If there's nothing else, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much.